Want to know the actual science behind faster muscle growth? Not bro science, not gym myths. The real physiological mechanisms that force your muscles to grow. Once you understand this, everything about your training will make sense. Hit subscribe right now because I'm breaking down the science most trainers don't actually understand. Here's what most people don't know. Muscle growth isn't about lifting heavy. It's not about doing more reps. It's about triggering 3 specific biological signals in your muscles. And one of these signals, most people completely ignore it. Let me break down exactly what makes your muscles grow. Mechanism number 1, mechanical tension. This is the force your muscles produce when they contract against resistance. Here's how it works. When you lift a weight, your muscle fibers create tension to move that load. This tension activates proteins called mechanoreceptors in your muscle cells. These receptors sense the stress and send signals to your DNA. Your DNA responds by triggering muscle protein synthesis. The key here? Time under tension matters more than the actual weight. A lighter weight held under tension for longer can create more growth stimulus than a heavy weight moved with momentum. Your muscle doesn't know pounds, it only knows tension. But here's what nobody tells you. You need progressive tension. Your muscles adapt. If you keep doing the same weight for the same time, the tension signal gets weaker. You must progressively overload. More weight, more reps, slower tempo. Something has to increase. Now, mechanism number 2 is where things get interesting. This is what creates that pump you feel. Mechanism number 2, metabolic stress. This is what happens when you do higher reps and feel that burning sensation. When you do 10, 12, 15 reps, metabolic byproducts start accumulating in your muscle. Lactate, hydrogen ions, inorganic phosphate. These create that burn. But here's the important part. These metabolites trigger anabolic hormones, growth hormone, IGF-1, testosterone. They also cause cell swelling. Your muscle cells swell with fluid. This swelling is detected by your cells as a threat to their integrity. Your body responds by reinforcing the cell. How? By building more muscle protein. It's a survival mechanism. This is why that pump isn't just for show. The pump is actually a growth signal. Blood gets trapped in the muscle. Nutrients flood in. Waste products accumulate. Your cells sense this and activate growth pathways. The key to maximizing metabolic stress? Shorter rest periods, higher rep ranges, techniques like drop sets and supersets, anything that creates that burning, pumping sensation. But here's the mechanism most people completely ignore, and it's actually the most powerful one. Mechanism number 3, muscle damage. Not injury, controlled micro damage to muscle fibers. When you train, especially with eccentric movements, you create microscopic tears in your muscle fibers. Your body sees this damage and goes into repair mode. But here's the key. It doesn't just repair the damage, it overcompensates. It builds the muscle back bigger and stronger so it can handle that stress next time. This is why the eccentric portion matters so much. Lowering the weight slowly creates more muscle damage than lifting it up. That's why you're more sore after focusing on negatives. Your muscle fibers are literally being torn and rebuilt. The inflammation you feel after training, that's part of the repair process. Immune cells flood into the damaged tissue. They clear out debris. They release growth factors. Satellite cells get activated. These are dormant muscle cells that fuse to your existing fibers and donate their nuclei. More nuclei means more capacity for growth. If this science is clicking for you, hit that like button right now. But here's what ties it all together: recovery. All 3 of these mechanisms only work if you recover properly. Muscle growth doesn't happen in the gym. It happens when you rest. Sleep is when growth hormone peaks. Nutrition provides the building blocks. Protein gives you amino acids. Carbs replenish glycogen and spike insulin, which is anabolic. You can create the perfect stimulus in the gym, but without 8 hours of sleep and adequate protein, you're wasting that stimulus. The signal means nothing without the resources to respond to it. This is the science: mechanical tension, metabolic stress, muscle damage, recovery. Master these 4 things and faster muscle growth is inevitable. There you have it, the real science behind faster muscle growth. Mechanical tension through progressive overload, metabolic stress through higher reps and short rest, muscle damage through controlled eccentrics, and recovery to let it all happen. Now smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't, drop a comment telling me which mechanism you've been ignoring. Share this with someone who needs to understand the science. And check out my video on optimal training splits for maximum growth. It's up in the corner. Understand the science, apply the principles, grow faster. I'll see you in the next one.